What do Barbie, Star Wars, and your coaching business have in common? Hollywood storytelling expert Greg Logan is about to reveal the formula and put me in the hot seat to transform my AI book coaching brand. No script, no preparation, just real coaching. Let's go. Hello, Carol Westmore here, and welcome to the Write the Book Inside You podcast, where my guest today, Greg Logan, promises the secrets of engaging storytelling to turn your brand from Blair to Blockbuster, just like he has for big companies like Kellogg's, Google, Adobe, United Airlines. But he loves applying the same approach to smaller companies and brands like you and me. So stay to the end where he shines the light on me to demonstrate what you and I must stop doing to present ourselves instead. Greg Logan is a multi-talented creative storyteller who is going to take us to the movies with his new book, Creating a Blockbuster Brand. After a long career in advertising, the fringes of TV script writing, and reaching Hollywood from Australia, Greg had an aha moment about how to market what we do through the lens of Hollywood storytelling and the formulas that work. Welcome, Greg.
Thank you, Carol. Lovely to be here.
Greg, people are sold on a story well told. That's what I've come away with from your book. You have a formula which you describe, which helps anyone from a big brand who you've worked with. And tell us some of them. Tell us some of the big brands you've worked with.
Oh, yeah. A few you may know: Google, Adobe, Virgin, Kellogg's, United.
You've worked with the big boys and you
Yeah.
still do. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
But what I heard you say is you're also happy to help the smaller.
I'm happier, not just happy.
Yeah,
I'm
happier.
happier because it's fine making rich companies richer. And I do. Everyone I work with, I make richer. But if I can tell a very different and motivating story for a startup or a small business, it changes their life. So the effect that I have, the smaller the better. The smaller, the
Okay.
bigger, the bigger uplift. So I just love working with smaller businesses. And I work with all kinds. I work with individuals. I work with some people even before they start their business. Yeah. And right up to huge organizations.
Well, as you know, I was a journalist for many years, and that's where storytelling was important. That's why I want you to tell us now why and how telling the right story could be important for coaches, healers, energy psychologists who are likely on a quest to attract and heal more clients, but ultimately boost their visibility, cash flow, and credibility. Over to you.
Yeah. Look, I think with your audience, it's no different to any other company or organization. The fundamentals of stories are very, very powerful. So if you want to attract anyone, you want to hold their attention, and you want to convince them to do something, the most effective way and cost-effective way is to tell a story. You don't have to change your business, your pricing. If you just told a more engaging story instead of rational proof points, for instance, which most people do, they go, I have to promote myself, so I'm just going to tell everyone my proof points.
Or how they do it, because we have EFT tapping,
Yes.
which 20 years ago overrode talk therapy for those of us who understood it.
And so that's important to you, but to your audience, it means nothing.
Exactly.
So you have to put yourself in their shoes. And what do they want to hear? Now you got two ways to tell a story. It can be rational, as I said, it can be emotional. Emotional is far more effective because scientific research has shown that we make decisions with emotion. We just use the rational brain to justify the emotional decision we've made. So you need that emotion to hook people in. But if you just tell an emotional story, it can be too emotional. It can be either too sob story or too much sharing, or it can go off the rails and it can go on too long and you lose people. And that's why I've stolen or translated the formulas movies use to hook us in, because they know they have to keep people engaged the whole way. And they use formulas to hook us in and keep us hooked all the way to the end. And so I've translated the formulas movies use so brands can use them, for businesses can use them, for individuals can use them to attract their audience. And that's a key thing. In the movie, we all follow the hero. So when we're telling our story, we think we're the hero. But I'm sorry to tell your listeners, you are not the hero. Your audience is the hero of their life. They have their own quest that they need to achieve every day or in their lifetime. And they don't want to know you as the hero. The role you can play is that of the wise guide, the mentor that comes along a third of the way through the film to help the hero achieve their quest, to help the hero achieve what they want. So as you, as a practitioner, health consultant, business, whatever it is, if you can help your customer achieve what they want, you're invaluable to them and they will use you. So every formula I use, I put the audience at the heart of it and then talk about how you solve their greatest tension, their greatest hate, their greatest love. And all of a sudden, you are really, really relevant to them. And then we tell it in the most efficiently engaging storytelling way. And there is incredible data on the effectiveness of stories compared to rational storytelling. When we hear a story, it lights up all 4 quadrants of the brain. When we tell messages with just facts and rational messages, it only lights up 2 parts of the brain. Stories do a whole lot of wonderful things. It creates empathy between the teller and the listener. When we hear a story, we take it on as our own. So how many times, Carol, have you heard a story and you've loved that story and you've gone off and told your friends and family and they've gone, oh, Carol, that's a fantastic story. That's Carol's story. They then take that and they tell it and then it's their story. Can you imagine in business if we tell a story and people take it on as their own and then spread that story? They don't do that with facts.
I get that, Greg. But and over the years that I've studied, the rags to riches story, and I did have a story where I lost everything in a fire and recreated my life and got divorced. So I came, one of those where everything imploded in my life. But not everyone needs to hear that story. And other
No.
people like the story of how I met the love of my life.
Yeah.
Rather than me. So where do we tell that story? Okay, so I've asked you 2 questions. One is, what story are we going to pluck? Is it our case studies? Is it a story of how we overcame, say, eczema and therefore help people with eczema? Or is it something else?
So I have formulas for 11 different stories. Like one is the quest, which is your customer mission. So it's very short. One is your controlling idea, which is your customer value proposition, and synopsis, which are the supporting points. There is your love story, which is your main story, which would sit on your homepage, for instance. And there's your backstory, which is about us. Now, in your backstory, you would talk about your struggles. And so that story where you've lost everything, by sharing your struggles, it creates incredible empathy with the reader. But you only want to tell that once they've read everything else about you and go, she sounds really interesting. I want to find out more about her. Then she clicks on about us and then she reads what you've gone through to get to where you are today. She's in love with you by now. Like,
Okay. But
so
the
does that make
beginning of your story that you showcasing has to be about how you can help them.
exactly.
Why are you there? What's made you passionate about?
Not your backstory. It's not about you and it's
That
not
comes
your
later.
history. Yeah. So yeah, all the stories like your quest, for instance, and your love story, the hero is your audience. And we start, for instance, the love story, we start with their greatest tension in life. And so it's something we never do in marketing. And it seems to be terrible, misguided myth that you should never say anything negative in marketing. So you only put the rosy stuff on it. But could you imagine if a movie did that? It would be the most boring movie of all time. There'd be no tension. And you cannot have a happy ending unless there is tension. You create a tension that is the greatest tension of your audience. So when you start with that, and it could be, are you busy? Is life's too stressful and you're not feeling great?
Are you
With,
stuck? Are you
are you
stuck?
stuck? What? Yeah, all of those things.
I'm not
Just have to
wanting to.
look at your audience and go, what's their greatest and remove yourself from the equation. That's the big thing because we try and force fit us in there. But I say to my clients, imagine you don't exist. Who is your audience? What's their greatest love in life? And that's your happy ending. And what's their greatest tension in life? That's the hook that gets them in. Because when you say that, they, they're drawn in. They go, oh, yes, I hate that. They're in. Then you talk about how you solve it.
Yeah, I like that in your book when you said who's the enemy, the hateful enemy.
Yeah.
And I thought about, us coaches and healers and using emotional methods to get into the body rather than talk therapy. I heard that in your on behalf of your audience, you need to know what are they frustrated about and what have they struggled with. And it can be physical pain, or it could be emotional, or it could be something else, correct?
I'm going to read you two love stories I've written, and I picked them out because they were similar categories to your audience. This is the love story where we start, you think about your audience, what's their greatest tension. Then you talk about how you solve it, and then you end with their greatest love. And this first one is a college. It's in Australia, and it's a natural health college. So it teaches people to be practitioners in natural health. Your audience should find this quite relatable. So we're going to start with the audience's greatest tension. Are you so busy trying to juggle everything that you've lost yourself along the way? It's not a great feeling. It's time to connect to what's important. Endeavour College is the leader in natural health education and research, producing the experts that keep the world well. We're the best at it because it's all we do. When you invest in one of our degrees, we also invest in you. In our small classes, you get specialized care and support, plus the benefit of real clinical experience. Here, you'll find other caring and curious people. You'll find an exciting new career in a thriving industry. And more importantly, you'll find your purpose. Now, how does that make you feel? So you can see the hook gets you in. Then you talk about yourself. And then we end with the feeling.
Now, Greg answers the question, should you begin your copy with a question or end it?
And here's a little trick. You notice I ended that with a question. How does that make you feel? Businesses make the mistake of starting their marketing with a question like, do you feel 100%? Our brains are hardwired to answer every question we're asked. So most people will go, yeah, I do. Or, yeah, pretty good. So you block yourself off from the rest of the message. Whereas if you end your story with a question, the brain is going to answer it. So now, how does that make you feel? They're going to answer it, go, that makes me feel really good. Yes. So I'm more likely to use or go to that college or inquire about that college. I'll give you another one. It's shorter. This is a person who's a health consultant. And her biggest issue was rather than trying to get people who were sick, was people can feel so much better and they don't even realize. So, how do you talk to people who are feeling okay? So, again, we start with tension. It's very similar, actually, because it's a truth. In our busy lives, we tend to listen to everybody except our own. So, we miss the warning signs. When your body is trying to tell you something, one conversation can change everything. People don't understand what's out there that their body is asking for, and that moving from feeling okay to phenomenal is easier than you think. Don't wait for the wake up call. You can feel ideal health now, and your body will thank you for it.
So Greg, one question here. I like the story, the way you craft that. But is this for your website or is it to tell on a podcast? How are we conveying this story?
It's about where you're doing it. So those two I did pretty much for the main story on a homepage of a website. A lot of love stories I create, my clients turn into TV commercials, videos for online, because it's a script. It's a beginning, a middle, and end, a problem to
And you
overcome.
call it a love story
I
because
call it the love story because when your audience hears it, they will fall in love with you.
they
That's
come.
why, because we're triggering their greatest hate and we're ending with their greatest love. But if, for instance, you were on a podcast or in
Yeah.
an article, for instance, you would make it much longer. You would still start with the greatest tension as the hook. You still then talk about something, but you would have more links. So between the tension and the solve, you would have like a link between the two. And I actually created a link in the endeavor. It's not a great feeling. It's time to connect to what's important. There's a bridge there to the solve.
Mm.
So you can flesh those out. I mean, movies work to this formula: tension, start,
But
work
they've
out.
got a captive audience, let's face it.
Yeah.
What if you are trying to captivate? You've got a story. First answer that, and then I'd like to move on to why you wrote a book at
Mhm.
this stage. And then I'd like you to, if you can, coach me with my brand story. I
Sure.
don't know if you can do, but let's just finish that
But this
question.
is why I give my clients a suite of messages, not just one, is because I mentioned before the backstory is your about us. So that's only really working on your about us page, or if you're sending a document to someone and there's 10 pages, the last page would be about
Hmm.
you. Your love story is on your homepage, or it becomes a video or an ad. You've got social media, billboards, you might have radio ads. Like there's all
What
these
about a YouTube channel where obviously you'd have to change depending on the videos you're making?
yeah.
But maybe you say in each one, if you don't know me, I try and say that I'm so and so so and so. It's almost like an ad if it's your own video.
If it's a video on a channel and there's multiple, I would never start with who I am. I
Yeah,
would I would start with the hook that is
yes,
your audience's greatest tension, because you've got them in.
yeah.
Um, and it's interesting. I have a Instagram account, and I only started it for the launch of the book, and I started it 5 months ago, and I've got 7,000 followers now. I've created many, many posts. We just this week did a report and went through it on what were the best performing posts. And I can tell you, I thought entering business through the world of movies would be the most engaging and interesting because it's different.
Yes.
They were the worst performing. The best performing ones were when I started with tension. Stories work, facts don't. Why your story sucks. Like all these things that created the tension
Okay.
and like, oh, that drew people in. And they stayed to the end. Once I had them, then I could talk about how I do it through the world of movies. They found that engaging and interesting, but it wasn't relevant enough. The movie world was not relevant enough for them at the start, but what drew them in was the tension. So that's why it doesn't matter whether it's a social media post that I did or a YouTube channel or a story. Start with that tension, start with the hook that is relevant to your audience. Every single client I've had for the last 8 years has been referral. So once people work with me, they recommend me to others, or they use me again, or they move businesses and they use me again in that business.
Yes. Why you wrote a book? Why did you write a book at this stage of your successful career?
There was two reasons. Kind of probably way in the background reason was to tick that box. I'm a writer that comes from advertising. So I've written lots of ads. Over the years, I've written articles for newspapers, for magazines, written films, written TV shows. I wrote speeches, but the one thing I had not written is a book. I never really wanted to because it just felt so daunting, so big, even though I'm a writer by trade. Also, for me, my skill as a writer is taking a lot of information and condensing it. For the book, it was the opposite. I felt like I had to, it had to be a big, thick book. I read business books and I just get so cheated because I go, you could have told that whole book in 3 pages. And hopefully you felt every page that
Yes, because
I
I've been
wrote
through your book
was
with
valuable. Like there's nothing wasted in it. But
and how? What was your process then? I mean, I hear what you're saying. It was daunting. How
yeah,
did
so
you?
but also the second reason why I wrote the book, I have a very unique process and the output. It's something that everyone needs. Everyone's business needs to tell a better story. And we either don't have the experts to do it, or we're too close to it ourselves. So we're not great at telling our own story. So everyone needs it. Not everyone can afford what Google and Adobe can afford. So I felt I would love for the world to be able to do this. So in the end, it was, I want to share what I've created with the world. And, for $29, anyone can.
And hold it up a bit higher, yeah. Doesn't that give you a good feeling? I love the cover, by the way. That's an advertising man.
Isn't it? It's
It's
so cool.
stunning.
In the world of especially business books, it's a killer. I love the book. I love the size of it. When I got the first box where it was delivered, and you pull it out and you hold it, and it's got a waxy feel, and I just went, "Oh, it feels like a real book." And of
Yeah,
course it is. It's a real book. But when you write it yourself, I don't know, it just lives on your computer for so long.
because now we're going to move to what I teach, my brand, what I'm trying to do now, and ask you to coach me. It's
Okay.
about book writing. So we're seeing, we're going from writing a book. My seed story was when I was 11, I wrote an article to the newspaper. I'm from Zimbabwe. And when I saw my name in print at the age of 11, saw the newspaper, it triggered something in me that I didn't realize till later when I talked to people about their seed origin story, has stayed with me. Through the years after I was a journalist, and I then turned to being a healer or a coach because I promoted people whose methods I could do, like the journey and EFT. So I came to the conclusion I will help writers. I know writing, I love writing. I will help writers clear their inner blocks. So I wrote 2 books along that line. And then I came to the book Bust Writer's Block, and I was just finishing it 2 years ago when I began to play with ChatGPT. And I had to make it the 8th chapter in the book. Buster than AI and ChatGPT if you're stuck. So I put it in the book, and then I came to the next year, which was the end of last year. And I've never written the book on the 9 steps to writing your book, nonfiction book for coaches and writers. And I realized it'll be dead unless I put AI into it because that's the future. And that was last June, July. I published it, the Chat GPT AI book writing formula, the 9 steps to write a book. And I give away the prompts I used. Of course, this was all new really at the end of last year. And that has become how do I monetize that, Greg? So what I love doing is taking people through a fast way of healing, breaking free. So I offer a coaching program, 90 minutes with AI and the person with me. And we flesh out the hook, the title, the subtitle, and the whole outline of their book. But it's not just asking ChatGPT. You have to know what you're looking for. What's their story? What do they do? What does ChatGPT already know about them? And that's what I've been. And then also offering healers to write their book. So that's where I am at the moment. And I wondered how you could help me, expose me to a bigger world. I'm charging like $297 for that 90 minutes. And I've got 3 amazing already, people are saying it just changes their lives because they thought they had 3 books in them or whatever. And in 90 minutes, they walk away confident. I don't actually follow up and say, I'll help you write your book, but I could. So I'm going to be quiet and see, is there anything that I'm missing to reach a bigger world?
Well, I think it's what you just went through there is what everyone does is they explain their business and they explain the roadmap it took to get there. But you lose people along the way because no one's been through that process that you have. They just want to know what's in it for me. That is the beauty of the quest formula. And it's every movie works because the hero has a quest at the start of the film that we agree with and we want to see it achieved. We stay to the end of the film to see that quest achieved. Can you imagine if you create a quest for your business that your audience wants to see achieved, that they want to see happen? It's very powerful. A very simple formula that the movies use, which is what do you do?
Mm.
Who do you do it for? And what value do you add to their lives? And if you think about Star Wars, Luke is, what does he do? Save. Who for? The galaxy. And the value, save the galaxy by defeating the evil empire. For Wizard of Oz, Dorothy is fulfilling. Who for? New friends. And the value, fulfill new friends' wishes and return home. For Barbie, she's restoring girls' boundary between perfection and reality. And in Finding Nemo, dad is finding Nemo. There's nothing else. The value he adds to his life is that. So in business, here's some ones I've done for clients for a performance coach. It was connecting people to their why. For a palliative carer, giving people their best death possible. For the health advisor, I read The Love Story before, opening people's eyes to feeling phenomenal. And for a celebrant, making sure couples have the best day of their lives. All of those people, or if you think about all of those audiences, they want to see that achieved. So when you go out and say, this is what I do, you don't, and you may have noticed, I don't explain how you do it, what you do. It's just the benefit to me because someone goes, I want that. Tell me more. If we do the quest for you, Carol, the most obvious one is if I put what you're already saying to the quest format, it's what do you do helping who for conscious entrepreneurs? And the value add to their lives is helping conscious entrepreneurs write the book inside it. So that's the most obvious one because it's what you're already doing. They may go, I don't really care about that. So what I say to all my clients is when they kind of play back what they normally say, I go, great. What's the benefit of that?
Well, I say it's to increase your visibility, your credibility, and your authority in the world so you can attract more clients and boost your business. That's kind of my tagline. And the benefit is that it gives you clarity on what you do and why you do it by writing that book. You need to get clear because a client will often have many different aspects. But I hope that by coaching them, in that 90 minutes, they walk away with their why and the hook that they're going to need to make that book sellable. So the hook is very important and how they tell their story because AI can tell you information. But what I say to them, you are a coach who has case studies and stories that you must weave into your book. And not you must, but to make your book readable. People don't just want to know how you, the hows. They want to know, you want to grab them with every chapter maybe by opening with a story about someone, that you helped or someone who benefited from your method or your niche, say. Does that make sense?
Okay. So as you're talking, a few options, just what you're saying then is I'm defining your why and creating the how. That's one thing you do for them. I think people will go, oh, wow, I haven't even thought of either of those things. And she can help me do that. One thing, as you were talking before, I transfer your unique story from your body to the page.
Or from your heart, maybe to the
Or from your heart, or, from inside you to.
Yeah, I like that they are heart-centered.
And I quite like this, which is ensuring the world gets to taste your secret sauce.
Oh, God, that's fantastic. That gets me.
Because it doesn't matter what stage these people are at, or your audience is at, or the people who are listening are at. As I said, they may or may not want to think about the book inside them. But one thing they've probably never thought of, but what they want is for the world, they have a secret sauce. There's a power in using something like secret sauce because it's special. It's untapped. So, but it's in me. It's in me. And it's secret because I haven't told anyone about it. I haven't written the book or I haven't clarified it. So it's secret to me and the world. I want everyone to try what I can do for them. And ensuring means this is going to happen. I'm going to make sure it happens. And the audience is the world. Like it's big.
I like that, the world.
So ensuring the world gets to taste your secret sauce. That would be the quest I
love that. And how do you think the AI fits in? Because I do it using AI. Do you think, so it's faster and clearer by the end of 90 minutes. Don't you think that matters?
No, it's just, so it's so funny that, even up until 2 years ago, my clients were saying, we need to tell people we're an app. I'm like, who cares? It's just the new way you deliver it.
Yeah.
And before that was, we're a website. Who cares? Like before that, it was, we're a magazine. Who cares? Like now it's, I use AI. Who cares? Like it just.
I think the clever people are saying, I've made a bot that can do that for you. They don't sit with them.
The power of the quest is when you say, I want to ensure the world gets to taste your secret sauce. They go, I want that too, Carol. How do you do that? Then you take them through your process. We're going to do this, do that. And then we're going to write a book. I know that's scary, but I'm going to get AI to do it. But
What's it?
oh, so it's just one of the, it's,
Okay. So you're not selling writing the book. You're selling spreading
no,
spreading
no,
their secret sauce to a wider, greater audience, so that people will hire them, want
yeah.
to work with them,
But you don't even have to say,
don't you?
you don't have to say, so you're more visible and you increase you grow your business, but they'll
Okay.
get that. If the world gets to taste my secret sauce, that's going to be a good thing.
Okay.
And,
Thank you.
and you don't have to use that traditional way of, so you will get this, this, and this. Just
Okay.
go, do you want the world to taste your secret sauce? Yes, I do. Then this is how I do it. Because your audience, they do something special, but they won't big note it very much. And they do things that are very hard to understand from the average person. So that's why if you said to them, you have a secret sauce, they will go, yes, I do. So what you're doing straight away is you're saying to them, I understand you. And then you go, I want the world to taste that secret sauce. Because once they taste it, they'll be addicted to it and they want to use you again and again.
Yeah.
So what are all the ways we can? One thing you probably never thought of is writing a book. And 3 years ago, you couldn't do this, but now we can get AI to help. So all of a sudden, they go, wow, who's this woman? She understands me and she's telling me things I've never even thought of. But if you led with, you need to write a book, it's like, whoa.
Okay. I love that. That really has helped me a lot. But I think it's time to say, where can people find you? Because I loved what you've done and I could spend another hour because I don't know how much you charge per hour, but it's probably thousands. Where can people find you to get all this in your book and hear maybe some of your talks on your website? Because I think you've got 2 websites and I'll put it in the show notes. But tell us now.
I actually have 3 websites. I've got a new one, which you may not know of. But so my core website is narrativity.com. That's my business. So you'll see all the logos of the big businesses.
And narrativity means the telling of a story, just so people know.
I thought when I created the business name, I thought I was creating a cool little modern name with a tweak on narrative, and I've created my own word. I Googled narrativity and it's a real word. So narrative is telling of the story. Narrativity is not only the telling of the story, it's how that story is received. And I was like, oh my God, that's perfect. That's exactly what my business is about. So narrativity.com is my business. My book website is called blockbusterbrands.com.
Brands with an S.
With an S, yeah.
Brands, okay.
Yeah. Blockbuster book is called Creating a Blockbuster Brand. Also, blockbusterbrands.com. And then I've created a new thing, which is like a messaging health check. And it's a little quiz. It asks you questions and there's multiple choice and sliding scales. And it breaks down all the key elements of a successful story, like clarity and emotional connection and tone of voice, called storytellingquiz.com, free. So there's those 3 websites. On Instagram, it's Greg Logan Official, at Greg Logan Official.
Okay. Well, I'll be following you there. So Greg, thanks so much. I mean, I don't know if you agree, but when I found out today, it's very hard for us to be able to, using even your tools, see ourselves as the person that we want people to lean into. So I've heard you say you've even had to really work on that one.
It's the hardest thing because we're too close to it. And I am my most difficult client because it's my business, it's me. And I'm a world expert on this because I'm too close to it.
Yes.
Whereas I never doubt it even like the short time I spoke at you, Karen, I was like, that is the quest for her. Like, that's what she should say. I'm very clear that is the right one. But on myself,
and I think I'm the same. I help people break free. I can help them. But, even on this, I can help them see where their story is and, but when it's you you immediately think how you do it. That's a bit different from other people. And so thank you so much. And all the big brands are coming to you because they can't see with all the money they spend. And what I like about you, you do a 4-day, apparently breakthrough type thing. You don't say, join me for 6 months. And that's what I like about what I do. You don't make people come to you for months and months. You can help them break through. Is that right?
I have 2 offerings. One is for the big businesses. It's 4 days. We do a 6-hour input session, and then 3 days later, I present everything back. It's done. And that's the power of the formulas and working with the clients. So I hear exactly what they want, just like I listened to you just there.
Mhm, mhm.
And also my skill as a writer. Those 3 things allow us to get there quickly. Somewhere in between the book and my normal workshop is I've created one-day workshops for businesses.
Okay,
And there's some pre-work to do, but when we rock up, we do all the outputs that big clients get, and we do it all in a day.
fantastic.
But I have multiple businesses in the room together.
And
Yeah.
do you do it online or only in person?
I'm about to trial online. I've only ever done it in person, but I am working on trialing an online.
Thank you for coming on the podcast and helping us. And I hope your book continues to bring in the blockbuster sale.
Thank you, Carol, so much.